And this week we have Deborah Curtis and Nick Newton.
Hello and welcome to 4th episode of NAP, the Nexus Art Project, where we invite wonderful, interesting guests and have interesting chats with them about their work, projects and
Everything else.
everything else. Yes.
We have Deborah Curtis.
We have today with us Deborah Curtis, the wild medicine woman, healer, yogini, wild Shakti yoga trainer, founder of mamacacao.love. Deborah Curtis, please welcome.
Thanks, guys. Real honour and a real pleasure to be in your company with your beautiful faces.
And then sat directly next to you, between us both, we have the discernible Nick Newton, composer. New to my sphere of understanding. We've got to know you recently, and we'll be finding out a lot more about you and your story, how you've got to become an album writer, producer, composer, a bit of everything, and it's been an interesting story.
From scientist to composer.
To composing, I mean, you know,
Thanks you guys
lovely
for having me.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it.
Pleasure. So we're going to start with the cacao ceremony.
We're sat here now, aren't we?
We're
Keeping it warm.
Waiting to have our beautiful cacao.
It's going to be a little mini skinny cacao ceremony. So just quickly, cacao comes from beautiful red juicy cacao pods in Peru and Bolivia and Africa. It's kind of like really dark raw chocolate. It's a superfood, but also the Mayans used to use it like hundreds of thousands of years ago. Slight exaggeration there, about 5,000 years. And so it was actually used as a currency to barter. So they would sit in circle, and when like the villagers and the chiefs wanted to come together, they would share cacao and drink. So it is a plant medicine, but it's not a psychoactive plant medicine. You'll be all right on this. And really what the cacao is, what Mama Cacao is she's a heart medicine. So she opens the heart, she brings celebration, she brings joy, and she gets you high. And so we've got some hot chocolate here, mixed with a little bit of milk, lovingly in a cup. So when you're ready,
we have to
do not drink.
Our main intentions, don't we?
Yeah,
coming up.
So when you have your cacao at home, and you can do this with us too, because you'll be able to connect into her, because she is a plant medicine and she's everywhere. She's a very feminine vibration. So if you want to bring your hands to your heart, or if you have a cup, or if you're drinking anything right now, bring it over your heart center. And
close, set your intention.
And just wait. And close your eyes. So when you set an intention from the heart, it's like something like your most wildest dream that you want to bring into manifest. So we've all got those wild dreams that, always thinking about every day. So just give yourself a few moments, maybe soften, dropping into your breath, and just ask. And maybe it's something as simple as asking for peace in the moment right now. Maybe it is wild celebration. Maybe it's love. Maybe it's joy.
Maybe it's a successful podcast.
Maybe it's hanging out on the mandala stage at Glastonbury.
Yes, well,
beautiful.
We made this intention. We went through this wonderful ceremony 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago, sat on my patio.
It was my first time sat on your patio, and you talked me through. I was sceptical.
Yes.
Not sceptical. It's just I understood the intention of it, and of course you're infectious, so I didn't just go along with it. I went in with it.
Yeah.
And wow, within a week we were both phoning each other with some of the most incredible news.
Magic, yeah.
We can call it synchronicity, we could call it coincidence, we could call it whatever. Yeah. But our intentions were true.
Yeah.
I obviously got the call of my dreams and ended up going to Glastonbury, performing, presenting, and so on and so forth. But you equally.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I'm not going to tell everyone. We don't tell everybody. I mean, that following week, you got phone calls. You started getting,
it was
you
yeah.
opened up your
Yeah,
yoga
yeah, it was wild.
world.
Yeah.
I mean, you were already
It was, yeah.
doing
it was,
some incredible things with incredible people, but suddenly the door opened up real wide for you, didn't it?
It did, but I don't want to share because I want to drink the cacao. So when you're ready,
Smells delightful.
drink. And you can just take in an inhale and just drink in your vision and your dream. Cheers.
Cheers.
Mine tastes lovely with a little bit
Super
of honey.
Better than I was expecting, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's delicious.
It is almost like hot chocolate, just with a bit of something extra.
For those listening,
Depth.
it
Extra
tastes
depth.
lovely.
It has this extra
It
depth.
looks
in the
lovely.
taste.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
So, I mean, where did this? So, let's go back to we've just had this lovely little ceremony, right? And it's gonna process as we
Yeah,
go
take
through
it kind of
the
like,
show.
yeah.
Start right back at the beginning with you then, Deborah. I mean, you're
in the
I've known you
beginning.
for a number of years, and you've done a lot of interesting things, and you know, you're involved in putting music celebrations on. You're involved in so many angles from your perspective, not just the wild yoga, but you're doing all these classes, the well woman aspect. Let's go back to where does it all come from? Where did this kind of spark in you begin? You know, from a child.
Yeah.
You know, was it something that you saw around
From a child.
that really
Wow,
gave
okay.
you this?
We're going way back.
Yeah, you know, was it something that really sparked it off?
I think as a child, I always had this wild energy running through me, but I didn't quite know what to do with it. And I'm just getting this vision now of me 5 years old, my Christmas present, my purple bike, and all my cousins. I grew up with boys, and they're like, take it down the slide. You know, so I've hauled this little bike up the slide in the park, 5 years old, and I'm sat at the top of this slide on my little purple bike, and I just rode it down the slide. And there was like a massive big pit at the bottom, obviously, where everyone used to jump in. And my cousin said that they were all like, oh my God, she's going to kill us, huh? Oh, off I went, and that was it. Then I got back up the slide and did it again and again and again. So I suppose maybe that's where it all began.
Thrill seeking. Thrill seeking.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you've been into the dance. I mean, I remember meeting you a number of years ago. It was all for the festival scenes and free parties and stuff like that. But you started putting events on as well. And it was Samsara.
Yeah, Samsara. So I think, again, back to speakers, healing, bass bins, feeling that vibration. For me, it's always been about vibration, bringing people together, being in the heart, coming from a space of celebration, you know, and always wanting to do parties, kind of always being on the outside, looking in, kind of like, oh, I want to do that, I want to do that. And then, you know, eventually finding my courage. And I went off and travelled around South America, and I had some spiritual awakenings, and then landed in Miami. And of all places, I went to Miami to find myself and to clean myself of certain substances, and found an amazing rock bar called Churchill's, and bartended there, and got into yoga, and yoga just transformed my life. You know, it gave me real access to my voice, to my self-expression, to love in my body, and from there, that was really the platform for all my creativity and everything else to grow.
Well, you've got that something in common because you've lived out in the States, haven't you? Was it Texas?
Yeah, I was
Texas.
You're in Texas.
Texas for 3.5 years.
Yeah.
Made it to Florida once.
Yeah.
West Palm Beach. I think we had friends
Yeah.
out there, but didn't get to stay long.
Proper
I
posh
would
in
have
West-
liked to have stayed longer there. But
Yeah.
Texas, quite an experience. So I've had that bit of
Yeah.
American life. Probably not quite the same as
Yeah.
what you experienced. Although that is where I did do some yoga.
Yeah. Oh, amazing.
'Cause I
Oh, well
was-
done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when I was feeling a bit
Yeah.
homesick
Yeah.
out there, it was good for
Yeah.
relaxation.
Yeah. Sorted you right out, didn't it?
It did.
Yeah.
It really helped. Yeah.
Well, we touched on it earlier. We researching Nick, and we find you're an astrophysicist. Is that right? There was a few.
Yeah, you're a
elements of-
scientist.
was
How
it
did you?
astrophysics or something? You studied this, and you've.
It is astrophysics, yeah. So at school, I was very good at science. I mean, I was interested as well. I always had an artistic side, but because I so naturally fell into the science side, that's what I studied. I was very keen on astronomy, had my own telescope. So, you know, as a teenager, I'd go out into my parents' garden, looking up at the stars at night and getting into that whole side of it.
Was there music in your household? With the style of music that you've obviously with composing, which we'll talk about obviously at some point, what was the influence of that at home? Was there?
There was always music. I mean, my mum is actually the artistic one out of my parents. My dad's very practical, but my mum was a painter as well. I think she wrote a novel once, so she had. I think I inherited that side from her, but it just didn't have an avenue for all my sort of teenage years to come out.
And what was your parents' reaction when you actually composed an album and sort of changed your professional route a little bit from science to music?
They've been amazing, so supportive. They always knew I had that artistic side because they'd seen me paint and write a bit, and I think when I announced that I was going to make an album, they were probably a bit taken aback because I've got a day job and it's not.
What was what was the pivotal moment for you that kind of made it possible to actually record this album, that the idea became feasible, doable, that you had the courage, whatever it was that gave you the courage to actually go for it and take that first step? Was there something?
So, I mean, some of it was during the lockdowns because you're kind of looking for other things to do and thinking more about how can I make the most of this time. So I was thinking about, because I had been doing it as a hobby for many, many years. And then I met someone online. We got talking. She was a singer who'd been in sort of rock musicals and performing a lot. And I mentioned the fact that I was sort of an amateur composer to her, and she listened to some of it and said, "You could do something with this, you know." And I know someone who I think would be perfect to work on it with.
Opened up the avenues.
Yeah. So I mean, that connection. I mean, without that, I don't know what way it would have gone. Whether I'd have even had the motivation to start it at that time.
It's interesting. People may not know that you've composed this. You've worked on all aspects of it, but you don't play any instruments. And I find that fascinating.
Yeah.
How you've grown up. You're sort of into science, and that side of the world, and so the creative side is obviously, your science. You tandem with art. Were you supported at home? Did they? When I say supported at home, I mean, did you have a natural propensity to just literally follow the science, and they backed you with, say, all the studies and the kind of things you wanted to go down? Or was you, not encouraged to say, right, play instruments? I mean, if you was into art, so being a composer now, later on in life, was there not an interest in that?
I always look back on that period and think, why didn't I do more? Why didn't I push for it more? Because it was inside me. But then I think my parents were very much, just do what you want to do. We're not going to say, right, you have to learn an instrument because that's what kids should do growing up. When I sort of showed an interest in science and astronomy, we were like, well, that's great because that's something you can
take
study
and
and
follow your path.
You can
if it
go in a
takes
lot
you
of
there,
directions with it.
if it leads you to there, yeah.
But it's never too late actually to learn a musical instrument. I teach
That's
piano.
true. I didn't pick a guitar up until I was 30 years old. Still can't play it.
well, I do own an old piano at home, and I always intended to do something on it. Just never got around to it. I think I'm intimidated because I do find that first step of
anything that is new that you have to do is going to be difficult or appear much more difficult. Once you start doing it, that's
Always.
it. You walk the path appears.
You've got the ear for it.
Yeah.
But can my fingers do it?
Well,
I don't know if they can.
It's something to try out. Maybe we'll after the show we'll
give you a piano lesson.
And if you connect with it, you connect with it, and if you don't, you don't, right? And
I just
that's
think
okay.
if you don't kind of have that coordination,
Yeah.
like getting your two fingers to do different things at the same time.
Yes, but it's just practice. And teaching lots of adults, and often adults will say, I regret not learning as a child or regret dropping lessons, and now, but actually they're so focused. And yes, they do find the coordination difficult, but that's difficult to start with. If you're learning to dance, it's going to be difficult coordination of hands and feet, right?
still difficult.
So, you've got to have a courage to just let yourself really...
It's definitely on my list of things I would love to be able to do.
Well, there you go. Set the intention.
And
Yeah,
what
yeah.
instrument?
Well, I have a piano
Okay.
at home, I've got a guitar as well, actually, which I also haven't learnt. But the the guitar was used on the album. So my composer friend, who I worked with, was a good guitarist. Said, can you use my guitar on the recording? He said, yeah, sure.
Well, this is it. You
hear
meet
my
people.
guitar,
You meet people. You try out these things, and you've got to try it. You've got to keep trying and pushing your boundaries just slightly. And
you drink
or
cacao
sometimes-
and bring it to your heart and set an
Yes, yeah.
intention.
Partly I just like looking at them.
So, we started off. We've gone through. You riding your bike down the slide. So the wild woman was obviously in there. Right?
Woke the wild woman.
And there's a journey.
there is
You've
a
ended up in Miami.
Yeah.
You've come back to the UK.
Yeah.
And you've started the classes. You've got almost like a retreat kind of vibe going on, haven't you? I mean, there's a lot of musicians that we did our 50th last year, and it was just an incredible celebration. But there's a lot of musicians and a lot of bands, a lot of artists and DJs, and everywhere we turned and looked, there was somebody of an incredible, interesting story.
Well, I think living in Miami and San Francisco and, moving around the States, I got so inspired by the artistic community. And when I moved back, it felt like there was nothing. And I moved back into the Shire, and it was literally, in the middle of nowhere. I live a mile and a half outside of a very teeny village. And I just got that I needed to create the community. And I had children, so it took a little while to grow. Obviously started teaching my yoga classes, and as my confidence developed, people kind of started showing up out of the woodwork. And then I think it kind of really, really kind of kicked off when I painted the house that turquoise blue a couple of years ago. And it was like a beacon then. It just, now I've got my teepees and the shepherd's hut and...
we performed in your yoga room. There was 3 bands played
Three bands in the yoga room. Yeah, that was incredible. And you were just all wandering around the house in kimonos. It was just amazing.
It was wild and
Mixing
fun
the
and
feminine and masculine energy in that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
was
and that
incredible
room
like
is
that.
for that. It's a really sacred room for healing and transformation and self-expression. But to you bring that whole art into the art of yoga, it was just really a really, really beautiful synchronicity. And then at the end of the day, for me, it's all about celebration. That's how I see art. That's how I see what you're doing. You're celebrating and you're doing what you love. Yeah, it's like a big cauldron of celebration.
I mean, I guess you're kind of lucky that you can do it full time.
Yes.
I have a day job, which is to pay for the music now.
Yeah. And I think at some point there's it's like you're on the bike going down the slide, right? You've got to take a risk. And for me, I know my role in this lifetime is to inspire people to live their passion and their purpose. And I would say to you, just get on that bike and ride down that flipping slide. Because when you are living from your passion and your purpose, the universe just opens up to support you, and miracles will show up left, right, and centre to really support what
the
you
universe
need.
is rigged in your favour, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
That's
Oh
the
yeah.
thing
It's a
to try
kind
and remember.
teacher.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, but you have to be brave.
You have to
You
be
do.
brave.
And you have been brave,
Yeah.
in all fairness. You're stepping into a world where you play, not to go too much about the fact you don't play the instruments. How do you go through the process then of
Orchestrating
attaining the sound through the musicians? Do you write the music for them? Do you give them an idea? What do you do?
So I've put it all down first. So I'm using online composing software.
Software, which one?
Oh, well, the one I started on 20 years ago or so is called Anvil. Never heard?
No.
It was one of the very first. And so when that came out, I was so happy because I'd been scribbling things down on paper without knowing how to write music before that when I was composing. And suddenly I had this tool where once it's there on the screen, you can add the next note and the next note, then another layer of notes and different instruments.
It's like building with MIDI, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah, it's MIDI format. Yeah.
Okay.
So I stuck to that for the next 20, 25 years, and that's what I handed over to my composer friend that I worked with, and then he was the one that then looked at how do I orchestrate that. You've got a line for a string section, but I need to put that on 4 lines. Violin, viola, etc. So that next step up, I had help with, but I would love to learn that and be able to
Keep
do
going,
that
yeah. I mean, this is your world, isn't it?
You compose and
Yes.
yeah,
I mean,
orchestrate.
I use Studio One, and it's learning a program is a bit frustrating because we just as artists, we want to put things down, lay tracks down, and
We
just
just want to
get on with
play.
it. Not worry about.
It's quite an art form
How
in
does
just
the program
using
work?
these
Yeah.
programs, isn't
But I
it?
suppose
Yeah.
you're interfacing with your actual playing on the
Yeah,
on the piano.
yeah, it's behind that
Yeah.
keyboard, so it's MIDI format as well.
Whereas I can only do it sort of by trial and error. Put it on there, listen to how it sounds, and think does it need to go up or down until it sounds
Yeah,
good.
that's the process, though.
That's,
It's,
that's what the process I've had to do.
it's an interesting process.
You should have piano lessons.
Sounds like it, yeah, just speed things up.
What's the current project you've got going on at the moment, Deborah?
So actually today was the 7th day of my Wild Shakti yoga teacher training. So for the last 10 years I've been running yoga training programs. So I train other students and trainees to become yoga teachers, and predominantly it's been women. Most of my work back then was like women's empowerment work, and using that sacred container of yoga for women to really connect with their divine feminine. And this training, we've had our first man, the sacred masculine, on the training, which is just beautiful because it just really shows me that there's been a shift in what's going on in the world right now, and particularly with you two coming together, just the beauty of how we can come together in union. So yeah, my trainings, they're a little wild, not your kind of normal average yoga trainings, and just again about like really having people step into their self-expression and their passion. So we can all be teachers, and we've all got, I believe we're all born with our own unique medicine gifts. And when I mean medicine, I don't mean Western medicine, like one of my medicines is laughter, and it's like what our gift is that we bring to the world, and that's our medicine. So just working with groups to bring their medicine through the, it's kind of like a bit of witch training, a bit of this, a bit of that, disguised as yoga training, but having people step into their leadership for themselves first and foremost, for self-love, and for their friends, their family, and for their loved ones in the world. Like really, I just have this, today when we were all together, to see them when they started on Monday to how they left today, and those ripples that are just going to travel to their children, to their families, with a smile, with their heart open. And that is how I believe how we're going to change this planet right now.
It's a blessing. It's
Yeah.
a blessing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
you've-
slush, and it is
Beautiful
an
gift.
art, it is such
It is,
an
yeah.
art. My instrument is my yoga mat. I get to witness myself in my physical body, in my emotional body. It's like a mirror for me. Some days I don't want to get on my mat and practice, and then other days I'm so in the flow. I'm just like, I'm in my heart, I'm in my soul. Yeah.
You need to introduce Nick and maybe invite him to the celebration thing.
To the ecstatic dance.
ecstatic
Yes,
dance.
Exactly.
yes.
No,
We
I can't
missed
dance.
the last
Yeah,
one.
we couldn't. We missed to do the
You
best
will
part.
be
Yeah.
shown the way.
Showing
But
the
there
way.
is there is one coming up. It's on the 26th of January.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's on a Friday night, so we will be drinking Mama Cacao and opening our hearts, and yeah. So we come together, we sit in circle, we just kind of land, and we set our intentions for the evening, and then there'll be some kind of guided movement. And then we've got an epic DJ that's coming to play. So kind of like we'll start off with some kind of flowy, moving into some kind of tribal beats. And it's just, it's full permission to be yourself. It's especially particularly in the English culture, we're so used to drinking and dancing. We're quite stiff and quite inhibited, unlike the Latin culture, which is where cacao comes from. And it's like bringing that exoticness
Tapping
into the
into
body
it, yeah.
without alcohol, without needing something, and feeling safe. So there's plenty of room where we'll dance and we'll move, and it's just full permission to be yourself. If you want to go wild, go wild. if you want to just move gently and softly, you're in your own meditation. So we're all together as a collective, but we're in our own space. Yeah, and
I think everyone's felt the moment when music can put you in that state.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'd love you to come. Yeah.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, and it is ecstatic with the cacao and the movement. Like, you experience bliss, you experience freedom, you experience openness, and no one cares.
No one cares if you're bad.
No one cares.
That's right. We'll open up a whole new world, and we'd love to hear the next recording once you've finished. After you've been to
After the cacao ceremony, ecstatic dance.
Write another album, and we'll see what transformative business has gone on. I'll bet there'll be some.
It seems like
Great
it's
idea.
all about seeking the answers from within rather than from outside. You know, when you mentioned about drinking alcohol and dancing and how we're used to this, and this is a different way to express yourself really naturally, awaken what is already there.
Yeah, absolutely. And in the last one that we had, like, at the end, so many people shared in the circle, and they said it was their first time that they'd actually danced without, you know, partaking in substances, and it was so liberating for them to be able to do that. There were lots of tears in the circle, you know, where people really found that heart connection with themselves, and it's like, wow, you know, we can just do this together. That's it. We just need some.
It's creating the
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, and some big speakers.
We got them going around. Might be at the next one, Deborah.
And
So-
sorry.
No, go for it. Yeah.
Do you go on, or do you organise sort of proper retreats, like away from buildings, you know, camping and?
Yes, yeah, I do. I haven't. I used to run yoga retreats in Ibiza. I haven't done for a while now because my pathway has taken me down to running my yoga trainings, and I run shamanic trainings as well. So, but what I like to do local to where we are is take people out on the land for earth walks, like to Avebury, to stone circles, to sacred sites, and to drum, and, you know, to take our shoes off and really feel the land and connect with the land. Because at the moment, the energy on the land is just so powerful, and you can feel it. It almost like moves the body, and there's just like, for us to ground and stop because life's so freaking hectic, and to have those moments to hug a tree. So those are kind of like little kind of like mini retreats that I'm doing at the moment.
Like a haven.
Like a
haven.
Which
Incidentally, or not.
I feel a song coming on.
There is a picture, painting coming up. Now, how can we? How do
Is that displayed, Matt?
Take that?
Yeah, maybe we'll be probably just a little bit not visible, but
Yeah, in front of Nick.
okay. Sorry, Nick.
There you go. Nick is sat there.
This is Nick. No, this is a beautiful painting. This is actually a cover of the album Havens. Nick, can you tell us more about it?
Right, let's
From
get this
behind the
behind
picture.
you.
I'll come round to the hold.
Shall I?
Here we go. We can.
Yeah.
There.
Here we go.
Yeah,
Look.
there you go.
Well, thank you. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
It's fabulous. I mean, there's all kinds of.
I got it.
There's a Turner. There's Monet feels in there. There's some beautiful now.
So I feel that my style of music was always connected with art and nature and showing those beautiful scenes outside. And so as we worked through the tracks, it became clear we had a sort of mix of seasons and different locations in nature. And then my thought was, for the artwork, can it be, can we include everything on the album and sort of do representation of all the different tracks?
So each picture
So
is representing one of the tracks.
Yes, yeah.
I'll stick this back over here.
Wonderful.
We can get you back in your seat. So which was the first track? Which started this process off with these paintings and pictures? Which was the first one?
Which was the little square.
Or did you get the whole series put together as one?
If we're going back to the very start, then I've no idea. Because 25 years ago, when I first started tinkling around, a lot of them came out then. A lot of the first melodies that have ended up on there, and I couldn't tell you which was the first. When I actually came to working with Alex, the composer, a song called Ancestral Dreams was the first one that he did a demo for, and
Like Ancestral Dreams,
Yes.
right?
and I'd written only about 90 seconds of it, so it was half a track. He just wanted to let me know what he could do from a MIDI file, what it could then sound like. And I just remember being blown away that first time I listened to his demo, even though it was so far away from the final track, but just what he'd done, the little flourishes and things that he'd added to bring it to life.
Inspired you.
It was
Yeah.
really, really inspiring, yeah.
So how long did it take the process? How many songs we're talking?
So there's 15 main
15 songs.
yeah.
How long does it take to
How
compose that
incredible.
then? Is it a body of work from like the 10, 15 years or?
So most of it comes from the 20 years ago, and taking it back up, and then along the way. So it was like a 2-year project to go from starting to work on the orchestrations to releasing it. There was a good year before we did any recording or anything like that. Of just me and Alex going back and forth, track by track, him orchestrating, me, saying, "Can you do it this way? Can we do this?" And then as we got to recording stage and things just kept, like the ambitions kept getting bigger, I went back to composing because I thought, right, now we've done some recording on this song.
Snowball.
I can hear where I could add more, because Alex hadn't sort of gone too far beyond my originals. But then I was thinking, we can go further with this. There's more scope to this song. So I got back to composing, and so probably 10-15% of it is newly composed parts that I've added during the process.
Is there something that you could do to push the boundaries next? What would you consider as pushing the boundaries? I mean, for the next thing, but it's not going to take 20 years. It's not going to take 20 years, hopefully, to record the next one. So you'll have to be doing something differently next time. Obviously, you've learned, right? So what are you going to do to push the boundaries?
So I've done this remix recently, collaboration with another artist, and I just feel like that's a bit of branching out. That
Dance
it
music
really,
remix, or
it's not quite dance. It's more to chill out,
ambient.
Ambient.
I would like to listen to that.
There could be a collaboration.
That's what I'm feeling.
Providing the music for the yoga classes, spreading into that realm. You see, this is the Nexus in action.
Yes, absolutely.
Because I would love to do that process on more of the tracks and have a sort of remixes version of the album. So there's that side of it, which is really inspiring.
And speaking of your music, what would you call the genre that you're writing in?
I'd call it contemporary classical. A lot of the feedback I get on it is that it's quite like film music. Mm-hmm. You can see the big.
Is that
movies
something
do
you
it.
would like to get into, writing for movies?
That was always the one thing where I thought, if I could choose my career, choose my dream job, it would be a film score composer.
Another Hans Zimmer.
Yeah.
So, are you into movies in general, or is it just?
I'm big into the music within the movies.
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings,
That's
exactly.
right.
Exactly.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. The
Mordor.
music has always spoken to me as such an integral part of these films, and what they create, the composers of these films, with creating an iconic scene.
Atmosphere.
It's often it's just that music when it's so in sync with the story and the actors, and you think it's just magic what they've.
And there were
they've
times where
done.
the films were relied on music because silent movies, for instance, there was the music to kind of
It was everything.
add to the or create the atmosphere. Really.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Can I ask you meow? Please.
That was my cat, Holly. I got her in Texas, actually.
Holly from Texas.
Holly from Texas. Yeah.
She meow like a Texan.
She says
Meow. I mean, I don't know how we all sort of tried to think we were Texan cats then.
somewhat, yeah. It's that cacao,
Wow.
Deborah.
Mine was more a mank cat.
So I actually took 3 cats back from Texas
Yeah.
on the plane, and
Oh,
and then they had a nice life, and she was the last one, and
Yeah.
so I've actually recorded her purring on the album.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I know.
And
Yeah.
one of
couldn't
the
help it.
difficult parts actually of recording the big day that we had at Air Lyndhurst. It was our first big recording session, and I'd had to take her into the vets before I went to London. She was really quite bad, and so I didn't know if she was going to pull through while I was staying in London. So I was having this amazing time, but I was all in the back of my mind. I was always thinking I'm waiting for updates from the vet.
Balanced,
and things
yeah.
like that, yeah. And so thankfully she pulled through. And then she got another over a year after that, when they really said she probably wasn't going to last much longer.
You know, people love their pets. You know,
And she
people love their
stayed
pets.
with me all the way till the album launched.
Oh.
And so
And now she's immortalised.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah.
So what's the
Beautiful.
response been to the album so far? That have you got any notable? What's going with it? Where are you taking it from now? Where do you think it's heading?
I can't sort of promise anything. I want to give it a go and see how far I can get. It's sort of waiting for one of those connections to happen. There hasn't been a big connection yet, but just keep trying.
You've been shooting for music videos as well, haven't you?
Yeah, we shot the first music video before the launch, and we premiered it at the launch event. So got a taste of that, and now I just absolutely love doing that. So we're shooting another one at the moment, our second music video, and I've got at least 3 lined up for 2024.
Keep 'em coming.
Fantastic.
It's so good to do that side of it as
Releasing
well,
your artistic.
and link, create a proper story for the song and the visuals that go with it. I just absolutely love that blending of music and the visual side. So the videos are just such fun. Love
Absolutely.
doing them, yeah.
And guys, if you want to listen to any of Nick Newton's music, I'm talking about Haven's album. It's available on nicholasnewton.bandcamp.com/album/Havens.
Search for me on Bandcamp. You can listen.
Yeah,
there,
Bandcamp, and also you have a YouTube channel.
I have a YouTube channel, Newton NJD. Haven's album is the social media handle. So there's quite a lot on Instagram and Facebook.
Any plans to have it performed?
Well, that has come into my mind
At my
recently.
static dance.
That's the first one, yeah.
Yeah.
Why not? You know,
Yeah.
Yeah,
You'd
if I
have
could
a
do
captive
if I could do
audience.
more of those chill out tracks.
Yeah.
You know.
they would
absolutely,
really
yeah.
work.
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
I was at a concert at Christchurch just a few weeks ago. It was the music of Hans Zimmer. So that
Oh wow!
film score.
Amazing
You
event we
missed.
missed.
You missed it.
We
You
missed.
it.
We would have been busy with one of the many.
Gigs or podcasts or whatever else.
Yeah, we just got a menagerie of things going on, haven't we?
So that was only a string quartet, but it made such a beautiful sound.
They have a
in
lot
church.
going on in Christchurch. They've got lots of interesting events going on, and they've had them going on for the last couple of years now.
Yeah.
EVMJ's
Jazz,
been putting
yeah.
a lot on their blessings out to me.
Yeah,
That's
I've
She's
seen
doing a lot of
April.
good
several
work.
things there now, and that gave me the idea to. So I also know I wanted it performed live one day, but that is the venue. I could see it then after that concert. Was I wouldn't need a huge orchestra because the space fills up.
Well, yeah, you
so
don't need
well
much,
in
yeah.
there. So I could realistically put that on. I've got to do arrangements for all the tracks and everything, and this will take several months to do. But next summer, that's what I'd love to do, is put a full concert on in Christchurch.
Wow.
With
Brilliant.
the music. Yeah.
Incredible.
Oh, good shout. I mean,
Beautiful. And you will.
we're quite often involved with a few events going on and around the tower, and I could maybe speak to a few people and we can maybe help hook you up with some.
It's great to have
You know,
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
amphitheatre is built for your kind of music. You know, the amphitheatre, the Old Town Bowl,
Yeah, yeah.
and there's lots of events up there, and I can imagine you guys
I
putting a
mentioned
performance on in that.
Adriana last time. We'd need a pianist.
Sure, with pleasure.
So,
Speaking
yeah,
of
sorry.
performances, perhaps Sculpture Park. I mean, the Cotswold Sculpture Park. This is where we actually met Nick.
Yeah.
And
Madame
we
de
were
Malik show we did.
the-
Constant plug.
yes, Madame Diabolique. And if you haven't followed Madame Diabolique already, I'm not talking to you, but you still have a chance to do it at Madame Diabolique Facebook page.
Yeah.
So we met there, and it's great to chat after the show as well. To learn that you're.
I loved seeing something new like that local people have spent time on and put so much of themselves into. I thought it was really inspiring that you two you've done that.
Yeah, and
well with Matt as well. And
With the
just
power of Matt,
the
you know.
creativity and being in such a unique venue.
Original story, original music.
Story, yeah, in a really amazing setting.
And you would love it. It's all about feminine and
yeah.
masculine balancing, interweaving.
You would
I
love
know.
it.
I'm sorry that I missed it and was
There'll
not
be
in the
plenty
country
of chances.
at
We'll
the
be
time.
we'll be putting it on at the
Hopefully,
Arts
yeah,
Centre
yeah,
soon.
good. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, great.
you'll get a chance to see it.
Yeah.
I've just looked over. We have a news just in kind of moment where
News just in the
there's-
latest.
There's a pertinent question that's coming about.
What is it? I suppose what is it? You're a healer. If when you heal people, when you help people in any way, whether it's through yoga or teaching yoga teachers or ecstatic dance, what is it that people need healing from?
Can we go there?
How long have we got?
Can we go there? What kind? So maybe examples without
okay.
any names or anything like that. But the examples of some of the kind of
Yeah, we don't know. We
people
don't want
that
to know the names.
No, you know, but like, yeah.
Well, you know, there's
Trauma.
so much.
Life.
There's you know, and it doesn't have to be traumatic stuff. You know, from a young age, it's like we create this identity that's not necessarily us, and we kind of create all these scenarios and situations in life that are not necessarily us, and then suddenly we find, you know, we're 60, 70, 80 years old and we haven't really lived life, and we've got a bucket list and it ain't happening. And it's just, I always kind of like to see these things as like, you know, those, I forget, in the summer you get those little fizzy, those little things that
Sticky
stick
buds.
to you.
Sticky
Yeah.
buds.
And it's like, it's just sticky buds of stuff. And whether it's physical stuff, it's emotional stuff, and, you know, in the energy field, we're walking around like, you know, mine and your energy field is touching right now. And if you're bumping into someone that's, you know, a bit miserable and a bit depressed, then you feel it, we pick it up. So it's kind of like, you know, wash on, wash off. So that's energy healing. I believe we all have the ability to channel energy. And so it's just about allowing this kind of universal light force to come and basically give you a little wash on, wash off.
And you can take it like into your own energy, or is it just sort of disappeared?
So yeah, it just kind of, it's like,
manifest within you.
yeah,
doesn't it?
it's kind of like, so the stones and the trees and Mother Earth, they really like to recycle negative energy. In the South American tradition, it's called hoocha, and hoocha is like the yuck, the crap, the stickiness, that and it gets, you know, it gets stuck in the energy field. So you can pass it on. You can hold a stone in your hand and you can, you know, you can blow all of that yuck and the stones, throw the stone in the river, and it shifts. So we're shifting stuff out of our physical, you know, emotional injuries, physical injuries. That's what yoga does. And then the shamanic healing really is about working from the outside out, whereas obviously Western medicine is working, you know, we take a tablet, we stuff it down, and then we hope the symptom goes away. But there's always an underlying cause, you know, and the underlying cause could be connected to our childhood.
Bad vibrations, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's just kind of, it's like kind of like pulling out a bit of a diseased tooth. And once that's out, you know, you can think, you can feel, and then you can call in anything that you want to call in. Happy, healthy, vibrant, vitality, youthfulness. So
And you
yeah,
can
does that kind of answer your question?
Yeah, I suppose we all
What did you
need.
want? Yeah.
We all need a bit of healing, you know. I mean, I think there's with so much
We are bombarded by
tragedy going on
everything.
around the world, and we're all looking for our ways, not
To
out
just be
of that, I
us.
suppose, but in a
Ourselves.
way of maybe appreciating that we're in fortunate positions that we're in, and so music, dance,
Yeah, your cat.
you know, is all our way of
You know?
using this power up.
The purr, the vibration.
Oh yeah.
You know, the cat's
the
purr.
energy that
They
you
have a
get
healing
feel with it.
vibration. You know, when you
Definitely.
touch a cat and it's like, you know, the energy changes, and that's all it is. It's just a transference of low vibrational energy, which in yoga is known as a contraction, to transferring that to a high vibrational energy, which is known as an expansion. And that's all we do. We breathe in, we breathe out, we expand, we contract, and we take fear and we transition fear into love. You know,
And you're feeling those things when you're out in nature.
Yeah, absolutely.
So is there anything that someone could do? So you could tell anybody, say anybody at home that's living at home alone, say whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Is there anything that they could do that you could maybe...
Yeah, right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the breath is our superpower. You know, we come into this life, we take our first breath, and we leave this life by taking our last breath. You know, and the yogis say that life is just a series of uninterrupted breaths. So when you just get power to the present to the power of the breath, it's pure, it's natural, it's something that we all have.
Well, we all need to do
So
it.
Yeah.
let's just come and take a little comfy seat for a moment.
Right, so we're all going to take
Right.
part.
All right,
Those
we're all
watching,
gonna take
listening,
part in
please
this.
sit
Don't have,
So
to,
just
don't
get-
have to fold our legs.
So
like
just
you.
get, no, you don't, I don't, yeah, I've got, you don't have to fold your legs like me. So just wherever you are, just take a nice comfy seat. I'll just bring the hands over the heart center and just close the eyes for a moment. So, you know, your shoulders might be a bit scrunchy.
Come on,
so we're
Mark.
just going to, come on, Mark, take your
too.
shoulders up towards your earphones and just drop them back down. Yeah, nice. And we're just going to take a nice big in-breath through the nose, and we'll take a big sigh sound out through the mouth. Ready? Inhale. And again. Beautiful. And one more. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Your energy's shifted. Your shoulders are softer. You're connected to your body, out of your head for a few moments. Just by taking 3 breaths.
Simple thing.
We take it for granted because
Yeah.
we just breathe, don't we?
Yeah.
But that's the foundation.
Yeah.
I've got a question for you actually. Have you heard of havening?
No.
Ah, okay.
What's havening?
So it was actually the flute player on the album. She does some sort of healing stuff as well. And she said, was I interested in havening? And I thought she was talking something to do with the album. Should we do, you know, something with the
Some
music? She
promoting
said,
of Haven.
yeah. No, and it's a thing that I did a session with her to see what it was, and it's very much about connecting the hands and always having the hands moving. So maybe there's another name for it. So it's
Okay.
so
yeah.
you're always staying connected with your hands.
Yeah.
And then you're doing other things like you're feeling your face for
Yeah.
a while, and you're always doing something like that,
Yeah.
and around, you know,
Yeah.
and up and down like that. And while you're doing that, you'll
I thought that was just a nervous disposition.
Oh, being cold, feeling cold. I'm so cold.
Yeah.
yeah. And
Yeah,
while you're
that's
doing
lush,
and while
isn't
you're
it? It's
doing
that
these
touch.
things, your mind is visiting something that you want to deal with in your past. And
Yeah.
all the time you're havening, and it's
Havening, we're going to have to
Yeah.
look
Well, no, I
up that.
haven't heard of that modality, but it makes sense. You know, we've got this
We create the
this
static energy.
fire
don't we?
in our hands.
Yeah.
You know, the tapas.
You've got fire in your hands.
I'll burn the piano in a minute.
Lightning bolts in those hands. What future plans do you have afoot?
Dude, 2024 is grand already. So I said to you no more retreats, but I'm actually running a retreat in Peru on October the 5th next year.
Oh, we need to be invited to that, right?
Can I come through?
Maybe. So that's an 11-day retreat to the sacred sites, but you know, there's a lot of tourist activity in Peru at the moment. So my intention is to take people off the beaten track, to drink cacao and partake in sacred ceremonies where we connect with the land. There's hiking up in the mountains that we're going to do. We are going to go to Machu Picchu, of course, and and travel down to Lake Titicaca to stay with a family that live on the island. They live in boats on the island, and we'll be having a fire and doing ceremonies on the beach. So it is more around connected to like earth walking and sacred pilgrimages. So that's happening in October. In May, I am running a women's medicine training program. It's this year, we're still in this year at the moment. So in August I had the opportunity to go and partake in the Native American sun dance on the reservation in South Dakota and be with native tribes from all over America. It was incredible and such an honor to witness them ceremonially dance for 4 days to purge for the suffering of humanity. And whilst I was there, I was receiving lots of information, and I was told by spirit.
Did you do
Burning Man?
No, I do Burning Man. That's on the cards.
On the agenda? Great.
So yeah, just to come back. So I was just told to come back and work with women in England to bring out their healing and their medicine gifts. So that's on. I've got a yoga training happening in June, and then I'm off to Burning Man this year next year in Nevada. That's an incredible
sort of
festival.
Once in a lifetime sort of thing for a lot of people.
Yeah,
Burning Man.
absolutely, and it
can't have 2 bad years in a row. It's
It's in the desert, right?
It's in the desert. It's
a pilgrimage to actually get to it.
Yeah, absolutely. It is. It's life changing. You know, it's anything and everything can, like, you talk about art and music. Like, there's just massive big art installations out in the desert. It just is. And it's like you arrive and you think you're prepared. You've been to Glastonbury. You've been here. You've been there, and it's like you're watching this movie, and then within a couple of days, it's like you kind of step into this movie, and anything you kind of think about and manifest, like the cacao, it just shows up. Wild, radical
self-expression. The imagination is crazy out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You fit right in out there.
You've been before.
So I first went in 2003. It was much smaller then. There was like 30,000 people there then. Now there's like 90,000 people. So it has grown, and for me it's lost a bit of its essence in the sense that, I remember being out in the desert and the stars, the sky and the mountains, but now there's lots of lasers and things like that. But the real essence of Burning Man, which is really about love and giving, like everything there is free, so you pay for your ticket in, and everyone has camps, and you just share and support each other and cook, and there was my friend, there was just a grand piano just right out in the middle of the desert, and my friend I'm trying to think of his play name, Cosmic Hippie, big white beard, he's just sat out there with his bits and pieces hanging out in the middle of nowhere, playing the grand piano. So Burning Man's very much
just
like that.
Very surreal.
Yeah, very surreal. So I'm just
Bring it
on.
So much to give into the new year 2024. It feels like, is it more than last year? Do you feel like you're accelerating every year?
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's about just like really, finding my courage, and if I'm pooing my pants, just doing it anyway. Really just saying,
you're going down that slide.
Going down that slide.
Get rid of the brake.
Walking away with booby pants.
Yeah, exactly.
Still, but you've done the slide.
And taking them off and swinging them around. And
that's because fear is inherent. I mean, we're all scared of something. It's natural, right? But we have to beat it to the extent where it
most
doesn't.
of the time, it's that crazy fear of failure, right? I mean,
that makes you fail.
Yeah. Or success. Sometimes it's like, well, what does success equal? Responsibility. Oh, if I take myself, up the ladder, the next step, then I'm going to have to do this, or I'm going to have to do this. And that's inherent in us. There's either that fear of failure or success. And I just say, do it anyway.
Yes.
Has there been anything that's maybe seemingly put you off your quest? Is there anything that... So it's taken 20 years for you to write your, come up with your album. Was there anything that maybe... took you off track, maybe made you think, oh, it's not going to happen? Did you lose kind of faith somewhere along the line, Or was it just a constant,
For the first 20 years, I didn't envisage anything happening with it. It was just a hobby, something for myself. And, when I got that inspiration to do something, I was like, I'm going to go all out. You know, there's no. I'm
Don't
not
really
going
Halfway,
to turn
yeah.
back.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it to the
Yeah.
best I could
I
possibly
mean, you
do
really
it.
have, haven't you? I mean, you've
Yeah.
sort of you've done it from sort of starting from nowhere, and then you've done the artwork, you've done the production, you've done
Videos.
the whole shebang. I mean, you know, what next for Nick Newton? If you've done all of that, what's next?
Well, it does feel like it was a once in a lifetime thing. So there'll never be something quite like that again. It's just you can't recreate those
20 years of toil.
circumstances.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, I mean, for sort of 15 years, I wasn't really doing anything. I had that burst when I was at university age. Then life came along, you know, went to Texas and had my career that I was focusing on. And then, to be honest, you know, without COVID, maybe it would never have happened because that sort of changed my situation. I wasn't having to commute. I had a lot more money in my pocket because not having to do that commute, and the circumstances just all fell into place.
And it was the
at
right
that
time.
moment.
Yeah, we've talked with the few of our guests about COVID and how it
Affected.
altered their, whether it be the artistic direction or how it altered their artistic direction, if at all.
Yeah.
I mean, what did you do in terms? I mean, it was probably ideal for you, wasn't it? Because you were working in the studio, you're at home with yourself, Deborah. What were you doing? Because you need people. I can't imagine what you'd have been like without this interaction of people. It would be an explosive event. I mean, how did you cope?
Well, I was a bit naughty because I told everybody to come over, but I, you know, Zoom, and it worked for me because I was able to hold my classes online, and somehow I just really, you know, connected with my students and just felt like as long as I could be over there with them, that they would receive me. So it worked really well for me. And I think the biggest lesson for me was I got my love for England, because I've been quite a restless spirit and I love to travel, and you know, and I was like,
Steel
oh,
horses.
get out, yeah.
She's one of them
Horse
fellow
dealer.
horse stealers.
Yeah,
She
I'm a
is.
whole, yeah. And
Yeah.
so it had me just really embody being in the UK and really like,
Just because you were forced to stop traveling.
yeah, and just really, really appreciate everything that I had around
And
me.
have you maintained the classes online? Is that something that's carried on?
I have my in-person classes in the studio, but people that join online as well. Yeah.
And where is your studio?
It is just outside Shrivenham in Oxfordshire, near Uffington Whitehorse. There's a big, beautiful white horse up on the Ridgeway, so very ancient land. So yeah, about a mile and a half outside of a village. Blue House.
It's
I
very,
say
it
Blue
is
House
very
already.
welcoming. You
Yeah,
come
it's
in
very
and
welcoming.
It's a lovely open space and
Yeah.
some interesting
Yeah.
objet d'art.
Yeah, we got our big
Popping around.
Buddhas and our big Native American Bob.
Always,
is, you know,
yes, we
Yeah,
loaded
Big
him up.
Bob.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's very interesting thing.
And you can learn more about training and any events that Deborah is organizing on her website, which is www.deborahwildcurtis.com.
Correct.
And you are Deborah Wild Curtis.
Oh, yes.
It's a
What's the
pleasure.
spelling of Deborah?
DEBORAH.
The long spelling.
Deborah.
Yeah, the Deborah.
Yes.
Deborah.
Right.
Thank you.
I think we're coming towards.
Yes,
the
but before
tail
we
end.
do,
What are we gonna
before we do, there's a very important thing we have to do. Can you please share with us or teach us one of your chants, one of the
Oh, okay.
You
This
thought
is
we were
right.
going to get away with that.
I thought I was going to get away with
Yeah.
it.
No
yes.
getting
It's
away with
an
it.
interesting chant.
Yeah, so it's really short and it's really, really powerful. So do you just want to lick your lips? And so we'll bring the palms together in prayer. And it's just nice to connect the thumbs with the warmth of the body. Come on, you. Come on, you.
No, you just excuses.
So you guys at home can join us, and
do.
we'll do call and we'll do call and response, and then maybe we'll give it a go together at the end. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll take a nice
Okay.
big in breath together. Loka
Loka
Samasta
Samasta
Sukhino
Sukino.
Bhavantu.
Bhavantu.
Oh, that was Lash. And again. Loka samasta Sukino Bhavantu. Good, one more time. Loka samasta Sukino Bhavantu. And we'll finish with the Om. Inhale. And it means all beings everywhere be filled with peace and love and light and joy and laughter. Namaste.
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 What a way to end. Wonderful show with you two guys.
Thank you so much.
We're gonna
Oh, you're welcome.
do our usual little thing.
Yeah.
It's become a little thing. We, why wouldn't we play out
We're gonna-
on a little something on the
Yeah,
piano?
that's
So
what
we're
we're going
here,
to say.
isn't it, Nick? Yeah.
There is a little tambourine there.
Oh,
That's yours, Nick.
keep those hands off.
You've got
What are we
that
going to
rhythm.
play, my love?
Maybe we can play
I Found Love or Gypsy Love or
Gypsy Love, maybe Free Spirit, celebration of the Free Spirit.
Gypsy Love, yeah?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
So I'm going to have to start this song like this.
And just intro.
Your arms are folded at the table, look across at the one and only, the one and only. Feeling that you feel. You know you can decide whether to fall in so deep. And the remote control is in both hands, you don't know which to press, and now you're standing there depressing and you're wondering what is next. I feel that much I feel. And now I can't decide whether to fall in so deep. Hey! It's real, that much I feel. No, you can't. She has a history, and you don't know it, but it doesn't bother you, 'cause nothing ever seems to her. Oh, leather luxury, complaining ivory, it's something you'll soon regret. That much is said. No, you can't.
Amazing.
Thank you.
We didn't have to do the last verse.
Oh, well.
Sneaky last verse.
Sneaky preview of the song, We can't have the whole song.
Thank you very much, you guys.
Uh-huh.
We're going to have to get you guys all chilled out, and we'll have a little conversation in the
Yeah.
back room about the next show.
Absolutely. Yes.
What's going to be happening
And we will
with you guys.
we will put the relevant links in the description of the podcast link. So we're just going to put some information, the links to your music, the links to your website. And
Yeah. Lush, come
Thanks-
over.
thank
Come
you for
over
coming
for a
in,
cup of
guys.
cacao.
Thanks for coming round, and we hope everybody's enjoyed the show today.
Absolutely. Love and peace to you all.
Share namaste.
Namaste.